Not too much. We was posted up in that hallway with this girl. Okay? We was toxic with this girl. Okay? We was seeking Amy with this girl. We only know you from Zoe 101. So when it comes to the Spears family, not too much, because Britney got black cousins. She not invited to the cookout. We don't do stuff like that. But not too much. Because I don't want to have to...
What is up, Steelies? I'm DanieSteel. Let's get right into it. In our eyes, she is the princess of pop. In her family of origin, Britney Spears has gone from the golden child to the black sheep. Many of us have been placed in one of these roles when it comes to dysfunctional families, but very few will ever experience both the way Britney Spears has. Let us discuss these dynamics and the psychological toll they wreak on the recipient. Britney Spears started out as the golden child in her family. What are some traits of the golden child? Overwhelming need to please, often required to grow up faster. This can look like parentification and adultification, and I talk about that a lot on my channel. From an early age, Britney was responsible for the financial maintenance of the entire family. This is abusive, and it's something no child should have to go through. Family finances should never depend on the child working, something we see quite frequently in Hollywood families. When this happens, adults have adult conversations with the child, something you should never do. And they put children in adult situations, something that was clear to see in Britney's early career. The golden child are super high achievers, which can often lead to a fear of failure. The constant stress of fear of failure could possibly have driven Britney to multiple breakdowns and subsequent hospitalizations. The golden child is usually the offspring of one or two narcissistic parents. For example, Jamie and Lynn Spears named their third child Jamie Lynn Spears, something that could be seen as kind of narcissistic. Narcissistic parents control and manipulate their child's life to ensure that the child upholds the parent's perfect image and reputation. Since narcissists can only provide conditional love, golden children feel a severe amount of pressure to please their parents, to be accepted and loved. So how can one overcome the conditioning of being the golden child? One major way is by setting boundaries. Britney Spears was able to do this by finally ending her abusive conservatorship. Britney Spears' dysfunctional family dynamic is unique because with as much force and rigor her family had in seeing her be the golden child, when they realized they would no longer be able to control her, and most importantly, her finances, they just as enthusiastically made her the black sheep. When Britney was struggling, her family's way of supporting her was not to simply say, "We love you, and you don't need to perform to be loved by us." Instead, they started a manipulative, abusive conservatorship to ensure she wouldn't mishandle her own money. The money was the focus. The public saw this, and so did Britney. It's highly convenient that now that the conservatorship is over, Jamie Lynn Spears feels the need to tell her story. When Britney decided to take her power back and set boundaries, such as ending the abusive conservatorship and no longer paying her father's exorbitant legal fees, her family shifted into treating her like the black sheep. This probably proved to Britney that all the pressure she put on herself to succeed from such a young age was warranted, because when she stopped doing what her family wanted, they switched on her. Webster's dictionary defines a black sheep as a person who causes shame or embarrassment because of a deviation from the accepted standards of his or her group. The same dictionary defines a scapegoat as a person or group made to bear the blame for others or to suffer in their place. The black sheep term originated from the fact that the occasional black sheep would be born into a herd of predominantly white sheep. The black sheep were far less marketable. At times, they were even considered religiously sinister. In the context of dysfunctional families, the similarities between black sheep and scapegoats include the projection of feelings of blame, hostility, aggression, hurt, frustration, and so on upon one person. In addition to being paid $16,000 a month for his role as Britney's conservator, Jamie also received a percentage of his daughter's tour gross revenues. Jamie paid himself over $6 million for making himself the head of Britney's conservatorship. Meanwhile, Britney's estate is estimated to be around $60 million. A quick look at the artist like her at the top of the game will tell you that she should have much more to her name for the work she's done and for the reach she's had over the decades. But again, she was paying for everyone in the family, including Jamie Lynn Spears. A former FBI agent attested to claims that Britney's father, Jamie Spears, also bugged her room to monitor her most private moments and gained access to Britney's private therapy notes. If Britney is angry, she has every right to be so. Dysfunctional families typically allow the scapegoat to remain in the family until he or she dares to speak up or complain. Then the person is ostracized. Important to note, the golden child and black sheep are both symptoms of a toxic family. Functional families do not assign their children roles like this, and make no mistake about it. It is the parents who assign these roles, and the codependent siblings and other family members that enable this behavior. When it comes to the current back and forth between Britney and Jamie, it's clear to see that Britney feels a sense of betrayal from her younger sister, someone she has financially supported her entire life. And now Jamie Lynn is pretending that support never happened. She disputes that Britney bought her a condo and helped her financially when there's no way she'd be able to afford all the luxuries she flaunts without Britney's money. Zoe 101 ain't paying for all of that. Stop the lies. Court proceedings prove this. Everyone in the family was charging Britney's estate for their personal expenses. Jamie says her new book is not about Britney, yet she can't get sat down for an interview without making claims about Britney that Britney says are categorically false. If she feels she's in Britney's shadow, she should find a way to make money without using her name. Find her own calling. Zoe 101 and that struggle tribute that looked more like karaoke night are not her calling. She should get a job doing whatever Brian's doing. He's usually not in the shadow of Britney. There's a plethora of industries she could have focused on over the years, but she chose to try to follow in Britney's footsteps and then complains about being in her shadow. Y'all may be able to play those games in your dysfunctional family dynamic, but in the real world, it simply will not work. Public opinion will always be with Britney Spears. She has a hugely loyal fan base, and people relate to her as someone who has mental and personal struggles and was taken advantage of when she should have been given love and support. That's something many people can relate to. No one can relate to feeling bitter about being in Britney's shadow, especially when she sacrificed so much for her family of origin. Thank you for watching.